In today's video, we are going to be breaking down how Chet Holmgren shoots the basketball. He is a 7'2" high school basketball player in grade 12. He is the #1 ranked ESPN player in high school this year. So let's get down. Let's check out how he shoots the ball. If you are a taller player, this is definitely the video for you. Okay, so in this first clip, what we are looking at is, of course, the side angle. Where he gathers the ball is roughly around his thighs, between his knees and his hips. From there, what we do see is that he does not actually bend his knees all that much, and I really don't blame him. He does have that Z form, and his shoulders are over top of his knees and over top of his toes, so this is actually not that bad of a base. You wouldn't want him to go too low because, of course, because of his height, he has a lot higher to go up into his shot just to get into his set point. And if you're taller as well, this actually may be a great option for you because it takes longer if you were to bend your knees all the way down, and it may be a bit awkward for you as well because your arms may be quite a bit longer too. So this is actually a very good base for him. Next, we see that he brings that ball up into his set point. And some of the things that we do notice is when he brings that ball up, he does not bend that elbow all that much, if any at all. And that's actually good. He bends it slightly there, which is okay. That's his gather. And then from there to there, he does not bend his elbow at all. And the least amount of movement in your shot, the better. We actually do also see that there is a space between his palm and the ball, which allows him to have a lot more grip on that ball. Now, of course, his hands are probably quite large because of his size, but by having your fingertips on the ball and not your palm, you're able to control that ball going left and right, especially if there is a defender here who may knock your elbow or your body or whatever. When he does go up into his shot, as we can see slightly here, but there is another clip I'm going to show you, he actually does straighten his body up first before he actually jumps, but then he goes up onto his toes and up into his shot. There is not much lift onto his shot, which is, I guess you could say, an issue to some people, some coaches, some trainers, but in my opinion, it's not that bad considering that he's 7'2" when he has full reach on. His hand's going to be well over 10 feet, and especially at the high school level, that guy's not going to be blocking that shot. So there's that to think about as well. When he gets up into his set point, he does have close to a 90 on his shoulder, and he has just past 40, maybe 45 degree on his elbow as well. Now, when this is bent at a 45 roughly instead of a 90, what that does for him is it gives him more power to get that ball to the rim. Meanwhile, if he was at 90, it would be a lot faster of a release, especially for somebody who is a bit taller like him. It may be worthwhile, but we also see that he doesn't jump all that high onto his shot. So because of that, the 45 would actually be beneficial to him. From there, his set point is roughly right in the middle of his head, and it sort of looks like he's hitting hair at the same time on his forehead, which means that this could lead to a little bit of inconsistency if it does actually hit his head, but if it doesn't, I wouldn't be worried all that much. We also see that his left shoulder is back, which means that he is angled away from the rim. Why is this important? Well, the reason why this is important for him is it allows him to get his shoulder in line with his elbow to the rim. You want to have this lined up to the rim, and then you generally want that ball over top of either your shoulder, your upper arm, or your elbow. And that would give you the shooter's triangle, or at least what I call the shooter's triangle. However, this doesn't happen with Chet, and it also doesn't happen with Steph Curry. There's actually a lot of similarities between Chet and Steph Curry. Not just for the fact that Chet actually crossed up Steph Curry in a game, but we also see that he shoots with a thumb flick right there. And when that happens, that means that that thumb is pushing the ball up into that shooter's triangle to have that ball over top of the elbow, which allows him to have that straight shot. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and start shooting with your thumb flick. That's actually not beneficial for 99% of all players. But for Chet, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, those players do find success with a thumb flick, also myself included. He then when he releases that ball, we can see that the elbow is above his forehead, and he actually releases that ball from at least a lot of the clips clips that I've seen, he releases it roughly the same time from his middle finger and his ring finger, which will also help straighten out that ball because that ball is not over top of the elbow. He also has a somewhat hard flick. Now, what does that mean? Well, the hard flick will allow him to get more rotation on that ball, and we can see that with this shot here. We can also see that he gets a good enough arc on the ball too, considering that he is shooting with a hard flick as well. See, with a hard flick, it gives it more rotation but less arc. With a Steph Curry style shot where it's a soft release, what happens then is it gives it more arc. Now we can see from this clip, of course, this is when he was a bit younger, but we can see from this clip that he brings that ball up from his left side. We can see in the new clips that he brings it up from his right thigh, so I'm not going to put too much emphasis onto that in this clip because it is an older clip, but what we do see is what I mean by him straightening his body out before he even leaves the ground. You generally want to straighten your body out as soon as you leave the ground. He's still technically on the ground. Now, I'm not going to put too much emphasis into this, but he does have a lot higher of a set point than he did when he was in this age group as well. I would assume that this would be eventually changed as well because he will need to jump higher when it comes to the NBA anyways, and he is most likely going to be an NBA player in about 2 years. Now, if you are a taller or lankier player like Chet Holmgren, I hope that this video has kind of helped you become a better shooter. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe. If you haven't seen this player as of yet, definitely go check out his highlight against Steph Curry. That is actually mind-blowing. But again, I've said this in a previous video. Chet Holmgren, if you're watching this, I hope you all the best. I hope that you make the NBA, and of course, for everyone else, I hope it helps you become a better basketball player. I'll see you everyone in my next video. Hit that like button and subscribe.